Well, hello there. 'Tis I, your friendly neighborhood bookworm who never reads any books, apparently. Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Margaret, and this is a reading vlog. We are reading for Weekend of Peace for Realmathon this weekend, and I will be honest, I have not touched a single book on my Realmathon TBR. Not a single book. So we're gonna try and get through some of those books this weekend, in addition to some other stuff, because you get extra points for reading books this weekend, and so I'm gonna try and read as many books as possible. Also, I need to get caught up with something else that we're doing. It's fine. There is no TBR for this weekend. The main goal is just to keep moving forward, to keep the momentum, and to read as many books in these next 2 days as I possibly can. Technically, I started this last night on Friday, but I didn't get very far because I had videos to edit. So I have today, which is Saturday, and tomorrow, which is Sunday. Currently, the book that I am reading is Olympus by Rachel Smythe. This is a retelling of the Hercedes. You guys know what I'm talking about. This is the retelling of that. It could quite possibly be considered the original Beauty and the Beast, although Eros and Psyche is also, like, that's the actual myth Beauty and the Beast is based off of, but you get the picture. Greek myths are complicated and weird. I'm not disliking it at this point. There are a few things that I'm just like, did she, like, I don't feel like she had a outside of knowing names, although I mean, she's pulling some, like, real heavy-hitting, like, background characters that are not talked about in pop culture, but they're like, I don't know, anytime you start out your Greek mythology retelling with Zeus and Hera being in a seemingly happy and committed relationship, and you are not Disney's Hercules, they are the one exception, I will be side-eyeing you just a little bit. We haven't gotten very far, so there's very much probably the possibility of, like, a cyclical relationship, because their relationship was very off and on a lot. There are a few things that I've just been like, I don't know that I agree with how you're interpreting these gods, and what you've done with them, but we haven't gotten very far in here. I'm only like she's just woken up from being accidentally kidnapped. I like a lot of the retellings of Hades and Persephone just because I kind of like I like some of the thought processes behind that, because we've got a very sheltered girl who is sheltered because her mother made her that way, in congruence with someone who has not been sheltered and has a lot of experience. And I know that that is not a trope that everyone likes, but, like, you can't do this myth without that being present. I'll talk to you guys more when I have more thoughts on it, because I'm not very far into it, but I wanted to let you know what was going on, and I'll be back later. Later, I have a hair appointment to get the hair touched up. So there will be a lot of reading time that I have, especially later this afternoon, but right now we are on sprints. Hello, I am back, and it did not take me long to finish Olympus by Rachel Smythe. This was interesting. I like the interpretation that they had of some of the gods. Like, here, hold on, let me show you my favorite panel in there, or not panel, like, illustration in this. This illustration of Artemis, absolutely love it. Also, apology donuts, yeah, I'd have let them in as well. This is covering a lot of stuff. I will say that there are definitely going to be trigger warnings for, like, toxic relationships, whatever's going on with Zeus and Hera. I kind of get where she's going with that. I actually kind of like it. There's definitely some dubious consent in here in one of the scenes. I would say it's definitely coercion. It happens, which it's one of those things that I'm like, I understand why we're interpreting this god this way. I also feel like I don't know that we needed to have this happen. Like, I get what she's doing and what she's trying to explore through the story, so I wasn't mad about it. Because I think she's going to be exploring some very interesting things and showing how people handle trauma through that. Like, there's a definite, like, different types of trauma that we're working into. We got into some of, like, the real Greek myths there towards the end, and the way that she's looking at those through that lens, very interesting to me. I like that. I wasn't happy about that scene, that it was included, especially, like, not with that particular, I don't know, it fits that god, but also because of that god's place in the story, I kind of just didn't like it. I have feelings about it. I have not decided whether they are positive or negative yet, and entirely is going to end up being about how she deals with it and how she moves forward with it. I definitely ended this wanting to pick up the next volume and see what happened next, because I don't know why she ended this or where she ended it. The angle changes because my battery died, but it's fine. We were done talking about that book. Anyways, we have moved on to The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke. This is about two boys that their parents or their mother died and they were taken in by their aunt and uncle, but the aunt and uncle only want to keep the younger of the two boys, so they both ran away. This feels like it's set in, I'm getting the feeling of like maybe 1950s, 1960s, 1970s Italy because of where we are technologically. Where was this? This was written in 2000. And so we've got these two boys. The aunt and uncle are looking for the younger one, and they are currently living on the street in Italy. They are from Hamburg, Germany, which makes sense because Cornelia Funke is a German author. Haven't gotten very far into this, but it's going to be very interesting to read and see what's going on there. I was expecting this to be something set a little bit further back, actually, in time. I was expecting this to be in like the 14 or 1500s, but apparently that's not what we're doing today, and I think that's kind of cool. So I like the amount of interest that was piqued when I realized that this wasn't just like, oh, we're going back to the time period that everyone loves to do in Venice. I'm not saying that time period is not interesting. Like, some stuff went down, lots of stuff happened. I get it. I get why people are obsessed with that time period. They went to Italy because their mother used to tell them all kinds of stories about it, and kind of turned it into this kind of fairyland. This is my audiobook currently. I'm also going to be picking up Tithe by Holly Black for my physical read because I was able to find this as an audiobook, but this one, no. This is a very like short little compact book. I love this size. It's a weird size, but I love it, and I have a feeling that I will be able to get through quite a bit of this. And then once I finish this one, I do have another book I've sat down and kind of figured out some TBR stuff. I would like to try and get to 10,000 Stitches by Olivia Atwater. All of that is going to get several of these books off of my physical TBR, which is my goal right now. I'm gonna go, this is the wrong book. I'm gonna go do some stuff, and maybe I'll work on my reading blanket a little bit, because we've got it. This is caught all the way up to February. January stops here, okay? That's all February, guys. Mistakes might have been made, but also I absolutely love how this is turning out, so I wouldn't do anything differently. Having the different colors is kind of making me go, okay, well, I want to pick up this genre because I want to be able to use this color on here. So I'm very excited about that. Like, it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday now. My hair has been done. You can see it is very nice and fresh and bright red. We have mild updates. I haven't finished anything since yesterday, so that's part of what it is 9:51. So this is going about how I expected it to go. I'm surprised because we just had like a conversation that confirmed that this book takes place around the same time that it was written, which is in 2000. And I am confused. I mean, we're in Venice, we're in Italy, it's an older city, but like there are things about it that make me go, okay, well, this doesn't feel like it's modern, you know? Especially with like how the kids are being taken care of and all of that. A lot of this is about how society treats children. This is primarily just like a fun adventure with two orphan boys. That's what we're going. I think it's kind of potentially a modern take on Oliver Twist. I'm getting some of those vibes, especially like with the thief aspect, etc., etc. Their thief lord, Scipio, was exactly who I thought he was. It was a very funny reveal. I was just like, this is very obvious by what these kids are describing for this guy. Very obvious what's going on here. And, yeah, that's where we are with that. It's cute, it's fun, it's not anything special. I think it's getting a 3-star, but I think that this is a good one, like, if you're looking for something to read with your kids, or like a niece, a nephew. If you're looking for that, I think this would be a good book to read. No, I don't. Okay, so if you do not know this already, welcome to 2024, number 1. Number 2, there is a word that is used to refer to the Inuit that they do not like us using because it is a slur. You may have heard it in blank kisses. You will not catch me saying that word. It's similar to how you won't catch me saying the word that is popular to describe the Romani people anymore, because that is also a slur. That is used in this, and I'm not, that's like, the rest of the book is fine and great, but I just, like, that's something to maybe have a conversation with your kid. I don't know how to handle that when the rest of the book is fine, but they do use language that we now know is not great. Like, I think I learned 2014 or 2015 is when I learned these things. So I fully believe that this is something that, like, was ignorance on the part of the author, but also keep that in mind as you're going into that. There are probably better books to recommend that don't use that language. However, if you already have it, like, it's fine for kids. It's fine. There are better books for kids, but it's fine. The other book that I'm working on is Tithe by Holly Black. This is an odd book. Like, you think Cruel Prince is odd. This is odd. It's very slow paced, too. I feel like Cruel Prince, we get into a lot of what's going on with Jude right away. Our main character in this one is, Kay, is just now discovering a lot of the things, and I am 124 pages in. So it's a much slower paced book. We haven't, like, we know what she's being asked to do. We know what's going on with her and what her connection to faery is at this point. This one, I mean, like, I like it. Like, it's very early. What was it? When was it? I think this was written in 2000. Yeah, this was written in 2004. This is very early 2000s, like what kids were doing at parties, Veronica Mars kind of vibes. I know that, especially when the author grew up, this is what, like, this was very common. I know this has become, like, the whole, like, drinking, partying, going out at night thing. That's become a little less common, I think. I think it's harder for kids to do that because parents have, as we have been shown by some articles that have come out recently, parents have more opportunities and ability to surveil their kids than ever before. So I don't know that we'd be able to do this today. But for 2004, like, I guess it makes sense. Like, growing up into the 2000s, this is what I expected other teenagers to be doing as a Christian kid. What's going on with Kay is that she and her mom is in a band at the very beginning of this book, and one of the band members, for reasons that Kay does not understand yet. I think I know what happened, but Kay doesn't understand what happened. One of the band members tried to kill her mom. One of the guys in the band tried to kill her mom. She caught it. Like, she saw as he so like nothing happened. Her mom is fine, but they did end up going back to her mom's hometown in New Jersey, and Fairyland being outside of New Jersey, just like, oh my god, who writes that? Like, it makes perfect sense, but who writes that? They end up going back to New Jersey to live with her grandmother while her mom figures out what they're going to do next. Kay, when she was little, grew up and she could see fairies, specifically here in, like, where she grew up in New Jersey. She's 16 now, and she's like, okay, some weird things are happening. I kind of want to see if I can find my fairy friends again. It's very interesting because she's never stopped believing in what she sees. Like, you get that kind of vibe, even though she's kind of trying to pretend like she doesn't actually see it. She never stops believing in what she sees. I'm not bored. Like, stuff is happening that's interesting. We've also got her best friend's brother involved somehow. He is gay. However, like, there are some questionable things here. Like, I understand the girls just hanging out with each other in their underwear, but the brother, why is he in his boxer briefs? He's helping her, which is cool. He kind of, like, the very beginning was giving off school shooter vibes, which was a choice on Miss Holly Black's part, especially considering that I guess he's supposed to be somebody that we like. I need to go put my sheets in the laundry and all of that, because I didn't do that last time I changed. Oh, well, wait, I do have clean sheets. Okay, great. I can just change my sheets and then throw these and the other stuff in the laundry. That's great. I'm going to put my audiobook on, but before, I didn't update you a lot because I went and got my hair done, obviously, and then I also went to the bookstore and the library. While I was at my local Barnes & Noble, I always stop by to see what they have. Since I started collecting vinyl, I just decided I'd stop by and see. So I started collecting specifically Taylor Swift vinyl, and then I'm looking for some other stuff that I know I might like and would want to listen to on my record player. But I figured, you know what, they always have a pretty good Taylor Swift selection, so let me go check and see what they've got. And I found these guys. I got that yesterday. And then I also, because they have all of them at my Barnes & Noble, like, they still have all of them, I got this one. I almost got this from a friend, but they'd already sold it. She'd already sold it to somebody else, but look at that. Anyways, so, library books. I'm doing a thing right now that involves me reading a lot of books, and I'm trying to get a lot of short books here that are like 300 pages or less. I got the 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Aoife loves this book, so I was like, okay, cool, let's grab that, and I will read it. I've also read, like, pieces of, I think I've read, like, an excerpt from it. I was like, oh my god, I have to read this right away, just because of, like, the dynamic between the guy and the girl. So we got some Darcy Coates because Brianna said that they are very quick to read. This one doesn't look like it's going to be quick, but I grabbed it anyways. I got Dead of Winter. Something happening in the Rocky Mountains. Oh, okay, so we've got a main character that they go up into the Rocky Mountains, the tour guide goes missing, and then she's trapped with 8 other people, and one of those people kills for sport. The other one I have is From Below. I know this is about a woman who her wife goes missing. Now, the woman and the rest of the team are going to find out, I think, what happened to them. And then I got The Hollow Dead for reasons I don't understand, because I thought this was a different book. And then I got Acceptance by Jeff Vandermeer, which is the 3rd book in the Southern Reach trilogy, which you might also know as the Area X trilogy. I started reading Annihilation for this project I'm doing last last Monday, and blasted through that because like they're very weird, creepy books that have a lot of stuff going on. I've been told that like you will not understand what's going on unless you read all 3 books, because the first book is really just setting up. It's a very short, Annihilation is very short, and it's just really setting up the situation that is going on. I also got the Chronicles of Crestomancy by Diana Wynne Jones because I wanted to read these books. I love Howl's Moving Castle, and I've heard that Christopher Chant, whoever the main character of this is very similar to Howl. So I'm hoping that if he's similar to Howl, we'll also have similar vibes to the Howl series. I love Sophie, I love Howl, and I want more of them, but alas, there are only 3 books in that series. And then I also had to, because my hairdresser is near the big Barnes & Noble, again, they have music, so I got some books. I got A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. This is the one that has this pretty blue sprayed edges, and I don't know, what does it look like underneath? Oh, I love that they're embossing underneath now. I figured I'd just grab this one because I'm interested in the book, and if I end up liking it, I'll want the one that has the pretty shiny edges. I also got A Tempest in Tea by Hafsa Fazelle. I don't know what this is about. I know I loved her first 2 books, and so I've seen excerpts of this that she's posted online, and I was like, okay, cool, I want to read this. There's a high chance I'm gonna like this book, so I got it because it's an author I already like. And then I obviously had to get The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. This just came out. I'm terrible. It's so pretty. Like, I think this might be the best cover they've done. I have all of the black editions from Barnes & Noble. I need to get this and the Stolen Heir in the white edition, so I have both sets. That's so cute. Look at that. That's so cute. I love the original series. I don't know if I love this series yet. I need to read this book because like the second book was really good. I enjoyed it. I had a great time because being back in this world, learning more about this world, loved it. I haven't read this yet. How she ends it could definitely color whether or not I like the book, but I enjoy the series. I have fun with these books. Obviously, I'm reading the original series that's kind of set up the world. It's funny because the 2 characters that are in this book we see, I think, in the Cruel Prince. We see them in the Cruel Prince for sure. So I kind of know where they're going, but it's really interesting to see them at the beginning and what's going on with that.
I shoot my shot, get around, fall hard, rebound, I forget fast. You think that I can't handle that, but maybe that's just where you're at. I never last. Tell me that I'll meet somebody. People talk about my body, that it's all part of the journey. But you know what really hurts me? That you think I don't know that already. Have a plan you wanna tell me for when you think that I'm ready. But I think that's unhealthy, 'cause I don't want your pity party lately. You've been acting like you're trying to save me, save me. Why do you want me to change? Do you like me better that way? I don't want your pity party. Bad date, won't lie, he's not the guy, but I just laugh it off. I told you I was fine, but you gave me those eyes like I'm a lost cause. Tell me that I'll meet somebody. People talk about my body, that it's all part of the journey. Tell me that I'm worthy, but I don't want your pity party lately. You've been acting like you're trying to save me, save me. Why do you want me to change? Do you like me better that way? I don't want your pity party. You got lots to lose.
time, as you can see from that little thing, it is time for an update. I did finish The Thief Lord. I gave it 3 stars. It's okay. My main criticism of this is still just the fact that there is some dated language in here, and some outright, like, there's at least one instance of a slur. I didn't notice anything else after that one instance, but, like, just, I don't know, find better, there are other things you can read, more recent, that even by this author, that are not nearly as, like, read her Inkheart series if you're interested in Cornelia Funke. There was, like, some stuff that happened at the end that I found very interesting, and it takes a little bit of a contemporary fantasy twist, which I like. This is Peter Pan, guys. I don't know why. I mean, like, it's kind of Oliver Twisty too, but, like, this is far more, like, if we're going by retellings of classics, this is far more like Peter Pan. And I kind of like the twist that it is on Peter Pan. I'm not giving it more than 3 stars again because, but it was like that was an interesting thing to realize about, I don't know, chapter 37 or something like that. I have made some progress in Tithe. I'm about page 206 right now. I'm gonna try and finish this today. We'll see, because I also have to edit tomorrow's video. I am picking up now Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee for my audiobook. I have a few hours left, so hopefully I can finish this, but I'm not entirely sure. I've started it. It's very interesting. It is based on, like, it's very much based on falconry, and I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing a lot of, like, things I am familiar with because of what, like, because falconry was such a part of the Middle Ages. So this one we're dealing with these giant rocks that are, like, paired with handlers, and they are flown, and they are used to hunt manticores because manticores are a problem in this world. I like it so far. It's very interesting. It's descriptive. It's a very, like, kind of slow build because this is like more a character study of this person, like a point in our main character's life. I'm very intrigued. I will get back to you when I have finished it. So blanket update, we've added all of that much. So that's like what? 1, 2, 3. I'm four books closer to being caught up. 4 books closer to being caught the heck up on this blanket, which is great. I'm staying on top of it better than I did last year's blanket. Anyways, hi, hello, how are ya? I am here to wrap this vlog up, talk to you about the 2 books I read during Weekend of Peace, and then 2 other books that we mentioned and I was reading during this weekend, but I didn't finish. First off, we finished Volume 1 of Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe. This is good. I enjoyed it. I think if you are someone who likes the Greek mythology stuff, read this. It's a very interesting take on the Hades and Persephone myth. I gave it 4 stars, so I really enjoyed it. I really like the art style. It's very colorful, and I like the way she uses color to describe the different moods and things like that and what is going on. The way that she used that, even though it is a very, like, contained palette. It is a very specific palette. It's blues, pinks, purples for the most part. Each of the gods have their own kind of specific color, but I like how she kind of keeps it all within. It's a very interesting exercise to have to do that with your art. Props to her for doing that, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I also ended up, as you saw, finishing The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke. I give it 3 stars. It's okay. I enjoyed it. Like, I liked the characters. I liked the plot. I liked what was going on. It's a very long book. There were several places where I'm like, okay, it feels like we should maybe start wrapping this up. And then there was more book to go. And I don't know how I feel about that. But I gave it 3 stars. I still have a hard time believing that this book took place in 2000. I just do. I'm sorry. I have a hard time believing that. And then I did not finish this weekend. I finished them today. But I did read Untethered Sky, which I gave 5 stars. This is so good. Brianna and I were talking about this because we kind of read it around the same time. The way that this is set up is it's very much focused on the relationship between the trainers more than it's focused on the relationship between them and their animals. Like, they respect their animals, they love their animals, they take care of their animals, but they also do not forget that the animals they are caring for are wild animals. And it talks about the different things that you have to do and go through in order to make the animals work with you, the training that they have to do. It is, like I said, very much based on falconry and what's going on there with that. So I thought that was a very interesting, very short book, and it was a very, like, it was actually pretty good as a self-contained plot. I would take so many other stories in this world, specifically with Esther and Dariush. I want more. I want more with them. Like, I want to follow them through their careers. It was such an interesting world. There's just so much going on in this one small part that is talking about these rocks and these rookers and what they're doing, and I'm just like, I could take a whole full-size novel talking about these people and their job and what they're going through and what's going on in the world. Like, there's so many other things happening that are alluded to but never expanded on because they're not important to the primary plot of this world. So, or not of the story, not the world, of the primary plot of the story. And so I would love to see more of that, but I wasn't left unsatisfied by it, if that makes sense. Feelings at the end, feelings, guys, just feelings. If you know me, you know what the feelings were about. And then the final one that I finished is Tithe by Holly Black. I didn't hate it. I gave it 3 stars. It is no Curl Prince. I'll be honest. Having read Curl Prince and knowing what she can truly do with faery and the world of faery, it's okay. It's like very 2000s-esque in its writing, but I liked it. I liked the relationship between Kay and Royben and the things that they're having to figure out and go through as this plot is being unfolded around Kay. The main conceit of this book, the thing we find out very early on, is that Kay is a changeling and someone has glamored her to look human, to be able to pass for human, but she is not. And certain people within the Seelie and Unseelie courts may or may not have plans for her. She's not entirely sure like who did the glamour or any of that stuff. And she ends up running into Royben through completely different unrelated circumstances. And I just... Actually, technically, no, not unrelated. Right. I put it down and I wanted to pick up the next book and continue on in this series. I like it as kind of a supplementary material to one of my favorite series. That's kind of what I'm looking at this as, is that it is something that is there to kind of inform the world of faery around us. I think once I finish, I'm going to go through this series, and I think I'm going to do my Curl Prince reread and read Stolen Heir and Prisoner's Throne to kind of like do the whole series all at once, have that in one video. That'll be fun. It's a very odd plot. It's very oddly paced. I will give it that. Like, and again, the pacing feels very of the time it was written in. It feels very, what's the heck, The Iron King? Yeah, The Iron King by like Julie Kagawa. It feels very reminiscent of that kind of plotting and pacing books written around that time. So like I understand, like as someone who was reading books around that time, I understand it. I recognize the plot and the pacing and all of that, but it was really weird the way things just how slow it was at the beginning, and then like it just felt very inconsistent in the pacing. I didn't mind it because again, we're following Kay and I'm someone who likes following characters, so for me the plot, if I'm interested in the characters, the plot and the pacing, I can ignore those kinds of things. But it was a little weird in places and it didn't really help. It didn't add to my enjoyment in any way. Like there are times where like you can have like a plot or a pacing that's just like got you like pulled tight like a string and like everything is going and you're just waiting for that moment where like the string snaps and everything. This wasn't that. I think that's what Holly was trying to do, but it wasn't quite that. You could read this book and not continue on with this series. Like this very much feels like it was written to be a standalone. But I do know that we continue on in this world in books 2 and 3 with the same characters. There was a whole plot with her friend's brother that like I was just like, I get why this plot is here and why it needs to be here. I find it weird and annoying. I mean, it was illustrating some very important stuff about fairies, but then there was some other stuff that happened towards the end with her and I was like, oh, this isn't fun. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Yeah, 3 stars. Enjoyed it. We'll be continuing on with the rest of the series. If you're interested in seeing anything about the rest of that series, go ahead and let me know and I will continue. I'll make sure that I put at least some commentary on those books in a vlog of some sort. Since we talked about Holly Black, I'll have my most recent reading of her books, or most recent video on her books. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!